And we have seen a lot of money coming into equity flows, but not necessarily so much into bonds. Obviously, there are two questions. One is whether RBI will hike rates more, or the second is that will the rupee continue to see some kind of um, pullback in terms of strength, where so that prevents them from coming wholeheartedly into bond markets. Would this trend change in the coming year?
I think it has already turned. If you see the last few months data, we have seen that the bond markets or the bonds have also seen flows from the FPIs. Of course, not as high as what we have seen in the equity markets. Last 2 years have been a washout for the bond markets because we saw a lot of money being pulled out because of course, various reasons, including RBI hiking rates. So going ahead, expectations are that RBI may not hike from here, or there could be only one hike that can be possible. But personally, I don't expect any more hikes from RBI. I think at this cycle we are done and dusted. Uh, Further flows are possible. One is that if India is included in one of the global bond indices, that has been a chatter since quite some time, at least 1.5 year since that news came in. I think it's a fair possibility that it may happen somewhere in the first half of next year, and hence flows would start coming in. Markets are expecting around 15 to 20 billion dollars of flow in the next year if that happens, and overall a $40 billion worth of flow if India is included in the bond indices and given a 10% weight. So I expect that flows will be better and it should continue from here on.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point, Chirag, especially the fact that you're not expecting more rate hikes from the RBI. I think to a very large extent, if you look at the markets also, it corroborates if you look at the swaps, the 1 year is around the current repo level. So, and liquidity, while RBI is trying to suck it out, continues to, come in droves because of FPIs for portfolio flows. And put together, RBI does seem to have some kind of a conflict how to keep inflation down if they're managing it well, and at the same time watch out for risk reversals globally, any kind of threats of financial instability that can come through global markets. Hopefully in the October policy they may not hike the rates by 25 basis points, or continue with the guidance and then keep a watch on the markets. Now coming down to Indian market investors, so there's been a lot of change in the last since April. We have had a lot of taxation changes. So we have uh, so investors, domestic investors, fixed income investors had to contend with many things. One is the markets itself, then the changes, have you noticed any change in behavior, Chirag, in terms of investors since April this year?
Yes, Arjun, I think the tax change for mutual funds was a very big event. And what the investors are now doing, or what we are seeing a behavior change in investors, is that earlier, just because of the tax advantage, there was a lot of pull by the mutual funds to get money and garner money. But now, because everything, or the bonds and mutual funds or the PMS or the IF become or remain on the same platform, there has been a lot of interest by the investors to move towards investing directly into bonds. Because you can control the underlying credit risk in a mutual fund. That's not there. Of course, there is diversification, I agree, but then if an investor only wants to invest into a particular rated underlying, then that may not be possible in a mutual fund. Or the duration also is not in your hands, it's in the hands of the mutual fund manager, who would take a view based on his view on the interest rate spanning out in the next foreseeable future. So better control as well as a bit of a tax advantage, I would say, because the interest income is taxed at the marginal rate of taxation. But still, on the listed bonds, if you invest and hold it for a year, then the capital gains made on those bonds still are tax efficient. So we are seeing a lot of flows coming into the direct bond portfolios in PMS, as well as if somebody has a risk taking capability, then into the AIF.